a justification of being handled any kind of way. Well, I mean, you see what they're doing, but you still, just keep an eye out on them. What you gonna keep an eye on them for? Wait for them to kill you? You see the man standing there with a knife. So what you mean? You gonna keep an eye out on them? What you mean? The sign done came that the people are not where they were. So what do you mean? What do you mean? Take it back to the table that was brought up, the Lord's Supper. Take it back to there. Jesus, once he called Judas out, put Judas out. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Okay. Jesus, once he called Judas out, he said, listen, one of you at this table is going to betray me. And as soon as he finished, he told Judas, now go quickly. Go on and get out. Because it's already in your heart to do. Already. So it was not a matter of, well, I'm just going to keep him around, and just watch him. What, you going to watch your own death? Your own demise? Y'all, that's the reason why we get hurt like we do. Because we will not see things, or we will not take it at face value of what it is. Always trying to bring some type of justification to something when it is what it is. When it is what it is. The signs were always there, it says. And you and I must recognize them. It doesn't make people bad. It just makes you right for hesitating and allowing people too much access. Do I have any people that are willing to tell the truth on this evening and say that you have given too much access to some folk? You knew they wasn't for you, but you were steady. Huh? I got one.
Yes, ma'am.
You saw it. You saw the shift. You saw the change when it took place. But will still keep giving access because maybe you were taught that that was the Christian thing to do. But can I tell you tonight that just maybe you were taught wrong? You have to be led by the Spirit of God in how you are to handle it. It is best to be led by God in how you are to handle it. Because if you are led emotionally in dealing with it, and your emotions cause you to keep somebody around that's really aiming to take you down, then you'll be the one that will end up with the short end of the stick. You will be the one that will end up hurt. You will be the one. You'll be the one. Let's go to the next part. Let's go to the next section. I'm going to call it section 3. It says, when people climb too close or too high, too fast. Catch this. When people climb too close or too high, too fast, they skip the loyalty process that causes them to remain. I need to know if anybody got that. I need to know if anybody got that.
It's a no set.
That sums it up right there, don't it?
Yes, ma'am. No.
So when you have allowed them to climb too close or too high, too fast, you didn't screen them. You didn't take time, as the scripture says, to know them that labor among you. See, what I'm doing with y'all is I'm trying to help y'all not have to pay the cost of some things that I've had to pay the cost for. Giving people too much access and allowing them to move. And I don't even really let people move real quick, but still, there has to be a time of preparation that takes place. Allowing people to move to climb too close or too high, too fast. It says that they will skip the loyalty process that will cause them to remain. They don't have time to be developed. And so what's coming out of their mouth when they're saying all of that, I'm there for you. I'm gonna ride with you. Oh, I love Pastor Lee. Oh, I thank God for Pastor Lee. Oh, Pastor Lee did, when they saying all that type stuff. And if there hasn't been any type of testing, any type of trials, or any type of validity that comes with the relationship, and there is a climbing and you connect to them too quick, then what he's saying, and I completely concur with what he's saying, is that process will cause them to not remain, because as soon as something doesn't go the way that they want it to go, they won't remain. The loyalty becomes in question. The loyalty. Now, a couple of months ago, I taught y'all in spiritual warfare, what is the main thing that is attacked in spiritual warfare? Do anybody remember?
Character. Your character.
Loyalty.
Yes.
Loyalty. Loyalty is the main thing that is attacked in spiritual warfare. Loyalty. Because in order to be disloyal, that means that I have got to betray something that I have a truth about. Hear what I just said to you. I've got to betray something that I have a truth about. So I know the truth about it and I betrayed you. So I've become disloyal. So warfare is when this thing is coming to me trying to tell me to sell you out. When this thing is coming to me trying to get me to talk behind your back. When this thing is coming to me trying to get me to not submit as I should, trying to get me from being a part of things like what I should. That's disloyalty. That's spiritual warfare that is taking place. And what keeps us protected from that, and y'all can play with what I'm saying to you if you want to. You keep living, you're going to wish you had to listen to me, I promise you. And you're going to wish you had appreciated a pastor that will teach you and tell you the truth about things, because this is what's ruining people's lives, because they don't have this type of foundation inside of them, and they do not know loyalty. That's why people are not loyal to God. People are not loyal to the pastors that God has assigned to their lives. People are more loyal to their money. People are more loyal to their houses. They're more loyal to their jobs. They're more loyal to being out in the streets. They're even more loyal to people that are only using them as slaves, but they're loyal. They're loyal. They're more loyal because they don't get the principle of how it works. Loyalty. Next sentence under this says, this is true for business, ministry, friends, and the next part says, and yes, even romance. That's pretty heavy, ain't it? It's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. Because we can see it in business. Ain't got no business happening in ministry is what we'll say. And shame on them if they do it when they friends. But lo and behold, it happens in romance too. Disloyalty. So then the next part, he comes back and says, guard your space. Then gives a definition. Owner, business owner, ministry. He's given a title out of each one of those: business, ministry, friend, and yes, even romance. Owner, pastor, leader, friend. He says, guard your space. Guard your space. So for those of you that think it's okay to continue to let them be in your space, guard your space. That's all I'm going to tell you. Protect your access. Next thing. Protect your access. Okay? Protect your access. Employee, member, follower, friend. Next part says, some would love to skirt the responsibility of dismantled connections when the truth is they are as guilty as the disloyal because they knew where they were before they announced where they were. We're going to talk about that. He says, listen, before a person will even tell you where they are, they already were there. They were just literally only waiting for an opportune time to tell you. But see, they had already made the transition or decisions before they came out with it in their mouth. Next part says, experience speaks louder than conjecture. You are better for guarding and protecting. You are even better for caring enough to see the signs and address them, but you can't do it alone. You need reinforcement. You could save a life, a destiny, a friend, or even a sanity. See, if you are willing to deal with it, he says, there is a possibility of it being saved. But if you are not willing to deal with it, let me show you let me show you what he's talking about here in full context. You see that they got a knife in their hand. You see it. They may not know that you see that they got a knife in their hand. He said it's best for you to address that and say, listen, what's up with you with that knife? You know, is it something that we need to talk about? Rather than you to just say, I'm going to act like I don't see that knife in their hand. I'm going to act like I don't see it. I ain't going to say nothing about it. Well, while you're not saying anything about it, guess what they doing? Anybody want to tell me what they doing while they think you don't know they got that knife?
Meditating on how to execute it.
Show you right.
Plotting against you.
Show you right. They still working their plan. They still working their plan now because they are in darkness. So they think that you don't see them. So, but you sitting there for whatever reason it is and thinking that, you know, I just ain't gonna say nothing. You know, I'm just gonna still, cover them or pray for them or whatever the case may be. And please don't take that out of context about praying, because people do need to be prayed for. But you have to understand that when you pray about someone or something, there is a process in order for that change to take place that you prayed about. If somebody is strung out on drugs right now and you're praying for their deliverance, that doesn't mean that they are delivered right then or today. There may be a process to that deliverance. So you done said a prayer, turn around and put $100 in their hand, know they on crack. What they gonna do with the $100? Huh? That's right. That's right. So yes, you are to pray, but you are to be knowledgeable too, that what you have prayed may not have manifested yet. Because they're still standing there with the knife in their hand. They still have the knife in their hand. And they're still trying to figure out what they can do in order to execute their plan against you. Basically, this here is to teach us that in anything that we get into, whether it is business, whether it's ministry, whether it's with a friend, or whether it's even connecting to someone, for my single people in romance, it is best that you allow the process to run its course so that you know what you're dealing with.